don't want to lose them, because if you quit playing, you lose those friends. There's a second aspect of that particular social aspect, is that you don't want your friends to outlevel you when you're not playing. And so there's this sense that I've got to keep up with my friends.
For me, it's something to kind of take my mind off of the stresses of the day and just kick back for a while, just get lost in something else for a little while.
I've been playing it for over a year and a half. I'm not a power level because I'm not up to 40, but I want to get up to higher levels so I can go to these places I can't go to now and explore. So it's kind of like, I gladly pay my $9.99 a month, and I get to, it's kind of like indulge myself in something that's familiar and that I like.
The comparison is with Skinner box, and a Skinner box is traditionally a glass or plexiglass box with just about this big, and a rat is placed inside the box. And in the most basic sense, what happens in Skinner and operant conditioning is that when you're rewarded for behavior, you're more likely to repeat that behavior. And so in this situation, the rat is in the box and you want the rat to press the lever. What happens is that you've got to shape the rat's behavior first. So if the rat turns his head towards the lever, you drop a food pellet. And eventually the rat realizes that if he presses the lever, he gets a food pellet. And that's the final goal. Eventually get to a point where you can spread the rewards out, the reward out slowly, so that you can get the rat to press the lever more and more before it's rewarded, and it'll still keep pressing because it realizes that's the only way it can get food.
All they want to do is level, and they basically, everything they do is to get to the next level. The where they play, how they play, and it's not like me. I'm not a power leveler. That's why I have my highest character is 18th level after a year and a half, because I just kind of like to explore. I'll go to some town, I'll just kind of hang out and check stuff out, and you know, I kind of run out of money after a while. But that's just how I like to play it. I like to explore.
There's this constant draw to get more rewards, as in the Skinner box analogy. People get conditioned to pursue rewards throughout the game, and because the game is constructed so that there are many rewards you can be pursuing at the same time. So for example, you could be just at the brink of gaining a level, or gaining a bubble closer to the level, or being able to forge banded armor, or being able to complete a quest, that you're always close to something, close to a reward in the game. And those two forces are really strong in the game to actually keep you playing once you're inside the game.
But alas, ignorance and innocence go hand in hand.
I would say if I get some time on the weekend to play, probably around 8 to 10 hours a week. During weeknights, not every night. If I do, it's like an hour here, hour there. Weekends are really where I bank my time.
Not as often as I used to. Now, because I have a girlfriend and working a lot and stuff, and all these other projects I'm doing on the side, I probably play, mostly maybe I play one night a week for a few hours, and then otherwise it's the weekend. Before that I was playing, I was playing at least every night a few hours. I go swing dancing a lot, so I'd go out a couple of nights a week, but usually I'd be here doing that.
There were times when I definitely played about 30 hours a week on average for about 3 or 4 weeks at a time. But at that point in time, I didn't really see it as a problem, and I don't want to. And
I know there are times when I've been sitting here playing, and I'll be like, all right, now today I want to get this, this, and this done, and you'll just get so caught up in what's going on. And because with the game, it's not like there's any set break points. It's just one continuing saga. You'll look over and be like, wow. Where did half the day go?
Anything that is you can get that sucked into. People can get addicted to. An addiction is like this weird term I think we throw around rather loosely these days. So it's kind of like, some people say escape from reality, and I don't agree with that either. It's a way of being in a story that isn't real life right now.
And so, again, this is not to say that it's a bad game, and even though I know there's this addictive nature to it, But there were definitely times when I got hooked in the game and I was playing long stretches of time. And there were times when I tried to quit, but it didn't really work. But I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm able to moderate that now much better, because I was sort of forced to see the bigger picture.
There is a true addiction, as there would be to anything, but then there's this kind of gray area where really it's when people see someone being outside of people avoiding or not being in relationship with people in the real world, which you need that balance. I think that's where people start to say that I think they're addicted.
I imagine that if the official EverQuest vanished, that people would suddenly be jumping all over to these like specifically individually hosted EverQuest sites. But if the question is, if all of EverQuest disappeared all of a sudden, that's really good.
I'd say there's probably going to be a lot of people looking for a new game to play right away. Just because it's become routine for them. They sit down during their spare time and this is what they do. All of a sudden there's that hole to fill. So I think they'll probably move on. I don't know if all would move on in the same direction, migrate to the same game, but they'd probably mostly all move on to different games.
But I think the most important thing is suddenly people will feel that they've lost something. But more importantly, I think they'll feel that they've lost a lot of the friendships that they've developed in the game if they're not given any other channel with which to contact players that they know within the game. I think that will be pretty devastating to a lot of players, that they develop these friendships, that they know these people a lot, both in game and out of game, and suddenly they're gone because there's no other way to contact these people if you don't know them outside. If you hadn't already known their email addresses, they're really gone.
Well, as any community, it would just find another space. So either they'd go to another game, which there are more coming out, or they go back to the muds. They just find another way to do it. But initially, it would be kind of a shock and would be a bit devastating. There'd be a huge support group on all coasts, middle of the country. People would get together, meet for the first. No, that would never happen.
I want to thank you for coming. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope to see more of you at the next gatherings and the next events we have coming up. Everybody drive safe, have a safe trip home. Everybody behave tonight, don't get into trouble. Good night.
It is the adventure quest that awaits the bold and daring. It is the land of EverQuest.